All right, we are live. A few things to cover here today before we jump in the chat. But first things first, if you get bored here, or if you just want to check out some live sim racing or whatever, Groovy Hollow is going on right now. It is for a good cause for the Foundation, part of the Children's Miracle Network. So go over there and check them out. And if you feel it in your heart to donate, that of course would be much appreciated. Great cause, great thing that Eric does every single year. Unfortunately, it happens at the same time that I live stream here. So as soon as I'm done here, if I have time, I'm going to go jump over there and catch it, at least catch the finish. And I'm definitely going to watch the replay. Going with my pick for that one is going to be David Schildhouse. Going with him. Hopefully he wins number 3. I was fortunate enough to be partnered with him last year, so good on him. Hopefully he can get number 3. So go over there and check that out if you want to. But let's jump into what we got to talk about today. Conor Jones, Matt Mills situation. First off, the Matt Mills is going to race at Martinsville, so he has made a full recovery, and thank goodness the car caught on fire and he got smoke inhalation, had to stay overnight in the hospital for a couple days, but luckily he is okay now. So Matt Mills okay, and he is going to race. That is the main thing. That is the big thing. These cars are safe, but it's never good to wreck or anything like that. So on that note, we have to go over to Conor Jones and discuss the Conor Jones side of the story, because now that we know that Matt Mills is okay, we need to discuss the Conor Jones side of it. Conor Jones is a young kid, uh, probably 18 or 19. I can't remember off the top of my head, but a young kid, and I don't think he fully understands the gravity of racing these cars and what intentionally wrecking somebody can be. I think he found out the hard way the other week when he wrecked Matt Mills. So hopefully this is the wake up call he needs, because I think before this, I don't think it really registered to him that these cars that he's racing are dangerous. It's not just a game. And I think he's not the only one. He's going to be the biggest one because he is the repeat offender. And I'm going to get to the repeat offender apart uh, here in a minute. But we've seen him do this several times. He is unable to keep his cool at times when he gets upset in the race car. And you've seen him in the past intentionally wreck other cars. So it's not a good look for him. Hopefully this time it crystallizes in his head that that should not ever be a thing you do, especially at a track with that type of pace. You might be able to get away with it at a short track, but I still wouldn't recommend doing it there. So hopefully that's the wake up call he gets. But like I said, he's a repeat offender, so he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt. He is young, but a lot of fans are never going to think about him being young. They're just going to be like, how come this dude keeps wrecking people? He's a weapon out there. And that's a fair statement. Like, you can only use the young excuse for so long. If you do it a few times, eventually you got to learn. And hopefully he learned this time. But he is not the only party in this, because, as I said, he has a history of it. And the other side of this is Conor Jones needs to tighten up and get his stuff together and get right. But NASCAR has let it go on for quite some time. And we've seen a history of NASCAR being inconsistent with calls, but especially with these type of calls, you see people get wrecked all the time and NASCAR doesn't do anything about it. Even though you know for sure it's intentional, you hardly ever see NASCAR sit anybody down for a race. And on a first offense, maybe I can understand that. Just put them on probation. But when you have a guy like this that has repeat offenses, and I'm just using him as an example, because there have been many other examples in the past of guys doing this, and NASCAR doesn't do anything about it. So as much as you want to blame Conor Jones, I think we also need to blame NASCAR for not policing the sport. And I think part of the reason NASCAR doesn't police the sport for incidents like this is they have skewed a little too far into the side of entertainment. And of course, it is entertainment to NASCAR whenever the drama from an intentional wreck comes. So part of the reason NASCAR doesn't want to discourage this type of behavior is because it's good for business for NASCAR, because the more drama, the more clicks, the more views, the more times you watch these replays, the more ad revenue comes into NASCAR, the more sponsors come into NASCAR. So as much as you want to blame Conor Jones, he is directly responsible, and hopefully he tightens up in the future. You also need to blame NASCAR for letting these drivers continue to get away with these type of things, like wrecking people intentionally. So it's something that both sides need to come together on. NASCAR, especially in the lower divisions, NASCAR really needs to tighten up on the racecraft and not just let these guys run through each other and junk each other, because as you saw in this truck race, it has real world consequences. Some people are never the same after a wreck. Some people that are really great race car drivers are never the same after a wreck. So not only are you even if they survive it, they might not be the same race car driver. Steve Park is the first one that pops to mind in that, and obviously his wasn't intentional, but of a guy who was just never the same after the wreck. And if you intentionally take away somebody's career, it's just something you need to think about. This not a game when you're driving a 3,500 pound race car or a truck. In the case of the Conor Jones Matt Mills deal, so hopefully this sheds some light to these younger drivers that hey, you can't just go in here and act like it's iRacing, and when you get pissed off, put somebody into the wall. That's not a good thing in real life. It's not a good thing on iRacing. It's just a bad habit to get into, period. Learn how to control your emotions inside of a race car. That's really all I can say about it. I'm not trying to come down super hard on Conor Jones because he's a young kid, and hopefully he learns from this because I'm sure I'm pretty sure he's hearing it all over social media, and hopefully he gets better from it and doesn't get like super bullied for this. But he does need to learn from this, and he does need to grow. Like I said, everybody deserves a second chance. So hopefully this is the moment that crystallizes that in his mind that we can't just be wrecking people. It's not fun and games when you're racing these type of cars. All right, that was the serious part of it. The next one is the RFK charter. They're doing a wet weather tire test in Homestead. That's already concluded. Ryan Preece was the driver for RFK. That has led to a lot of speculation that Ryan Preece is going to be the driver for RFK. Now, whether or not that happens, a lot of people linking that together. It does look pretty serious because we've heard for months and months and months now at this point, at least 2 or 3 months, that RFK will run a third car next year. So where there's smoke, there is fire. And Ryan Preece being the driver that does a tire test for him, when you hear all that, doesn't seem coincidental. So if the rumors come true and they are running the third car, and let's just say for the sake of argument, Ryan Preece is going to run it, the next question becomes, where does the charter come from? Will there be a charter? Will it be a full-time ride? What is the fate of the third car over there that Ryan Preece will be running, according to rumors? And there are a few candidates for that. First off, a lot of people are speculating that he's going to rent one from Rickware Racing. I've seen Bob Pockrass mention this several times, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Bob Pockrass has mentioned this several times. Now, Bob Pockrass hasn't directly said it's going to be rented from Rickware Racing, but if you sort of want to connect the dots, Bob Pockrass is saying without saying they're probably going to rent one from Rickware Racing. So I'm going to lean toward that because Bob Pockrass is pretty much dead on when it comes to things like this. But there is some other speculation that maybe they got one of the front row charters. Possibly there's going to be a gap year with 2311 and the front row charters that Haas has. Maybe they rent one from Haas for 1 year. That is the most likely situation if they get one from Haas. That's not a long-term future thing, so I don't know if that necessarily floats, but that's, in my mind, is the only way they would get one from Haas, because as you saw in the paperwork for the court filings, 2311 already has one, and Trackhouse also already has one from Haas. So that sort of wraps up the other two charters that were out there from Haas. Of course, Front Row Motorsports getting the other one. So they seem to be spoken for. But if there was a gap year, maybe you could rent one for a gap year. Maybe that's what people are alluding to. But that's why I said they somehow got a Haas charter. So however it would work out, they somehow got a Haas charter. That's the poll question, by the way. The other one is they run a part-time deal like what Jimmy Johnson is doing without a charter, or maybe a full-time deal without the charter. They could do that. And then the other one is Serenity Now. Serenity Now, Jerry. Serenity Now. That's the other option in the poll question, because the silly season has just been one of those never ending, and there's more questions than answers when one piece gets revealed. It's been a wild, silly season. So that's my thoughts on the RFK charter. I'm thinking that they're probably going to rent one from Rickware Racing, but the poll question is up to you guys. I'd love to see what you guys are thinking about it. And the other thing that happened today that I thought was interesting is Irwindale is shutting down. Now, stop me if you've heard this one before, because I feel like for the past 5 or 6 years, we've heard Irwindale is shutting down. But it looks legitimate this time because some of the events that were going to happen at Irwindale have already been transferred over to Kern County Speedway. So it looks like Irwindale is actually going to shut down for real. Not only the circle track, but it also looks like the drag strip over there at Irwindale is going to be shutting down. So another racetrack lost, and it's looking like, if the rumors are true as far as that goes, it looks like it's either going to be another mall, or what was the other thing it could be? I don't know, but I just remember them all because I was like, we lost Riverside to a mall, and now we're going to lose Irwindale to a mall. So it's sort of a bummer. But apparently Irwindale is gone. Their last race is going to be, I think, in December, sometime in December. So if you're in that area and you want to see the last race at Irwindale, I think it is sometime in December. So check that one out. And the other big news, Couch Racer started a rumor that a driver had to finish in front of his boss to keep his seat. Everybody on the internet assumed it was Jimmy Johnson and John Hunter Nemechek. John Hunter Nemechek did finish ninth that race ahead of Jimmy Johnson. So Couch Racer started the rumor. They didn't necessarily say Legacy flat out, straight out of their mouth, but they did mention that it had to be a driver outrun his boss, and so everybody jumped to the conclusion that that was the one. They then later came out and debunked their own rumor, saying, we bet John Hunter Nemechek is back in the 42 next season. So they started a rumor and immediately debunked it. But that being said, there has been a lot of turnover at Legacy. It wouldn't surprise me if John Hunter Nemechek was on the hot seat and somehow got off of it. Like that would not 100% surprise me at all. And it just does throw into the fact that Legacy has been such a disaster this year. Now, next year, maybe with the data points that they gained this year, I don't know what you could learn from what you've done this year, though, because you've run so poorly. With the data points they've learned this year, maybe they run better next year. Unlikely. But they ran better last year, unsupported by Chevrolet, than they've run this year, supported with Toyota. So it really calls into question what is going on over there at Legacy Motor Club. Why is it in such disarray? Why have they run so bad? John Hunter Nemechek, when he doesn't wreck, he has got a ton of talent. He does finish well. He has just had a really high incidence rate this year. He's got the highest in the entire series of being in accidents this season. Eric Jones, we know what Eric Jones can do. Eric Jones is a solid race car driver, borderline breakout star, depending on the year. You know, Eric Jones can get the job done. Neither one of those drivers have lived up to their potential. In fact, of the drivers that have competed in all of the races, those two are like at the bottom. At last time I looked at it, those two were at the bottom of the points. So it's just been an unmitigated disaster for Legacy. And then behind the scenes, Legacy is moving people all over the place. People are getting fired. People are getting hired. Like there's just all kinds of stuff going on. It's just not a good situation. So hopefully next season they right the ship and get it going in the right direction. But Legacy itself is just an utter disaster. So I think that's part of the other reason that the internet immediately jumped to John Hunter Nemechek being on the hot seat. But Couch Racer, I did want to point out, has already confirmed that the rumor they started, they already debunked it. So either they were talking about another driver or they were talking about John Hunter Nemechek, and they found out that his seat is safe. So that, I think, is everything that I saw sort of happening. As far as this goes, once again, want to mention, if you get bored here and want to go check out Groovy Hollow, go check out Groovy Hollow. We're pulling for David Schildhouse. I'm going to catch the back end of that. But now let me jump into the comments. And officially, the poll question is, RFK charter, where does it come from? It comes from Rickware Racing. They run unchartered. They got a Haas charter somehow, or Serenity Now, Jerry. Serenity Now. 35 votes in right now, and 46% saying they somehow got a Haas charter. So, all right, Haas charter is what you guys are thinking. I'm thinking they're going to rent one from Rickware Racing. So we'll see how it plays out as the evening goes on. In between the lanes, BB, I found out that Martin Truex Jr.'s Bass Pro Shop scheme from 2017 championship season is available for pre-order. Put that on my long list of diecasts. So there you go, Lionel, or Lionel, however you would like to say it. They are offering the 2017 championship diecast of Martin Truex Jr. So go check it out. Rosie, what's up, my friend? Glad to see you on here. Adam, hello to you as well. I'm not going to attempt your last name, but it looks really cool. I am going to attempt it. Tereska, I'm going to go with Tereska, but I'm just going to call you Adam for the rest because I don't know if I got that right. Didn't NASCAR deny the sale of the charter or something like that? It says like this, like it's all in limbo until November 4th. So we'll have to see what happens come November 4th. Howdy from the Great White North. I have the worst anger issues, so I want to give Jones a second chance, but NASCAR sucks because they like drama, as you said. Independent officiating, please. That would be 100% what NASCAR needs. Somebody to independently enforce their own rules. Webster's Dictionary of Inconsistent equals NASCAR, says Lloyd Barnes. That's pretty much as accurate as it gets. So we have the two of the chap 4 figured out. Two of the final 4 figured out. Both there with strategy that was used because they were not fast enough to win. It is a trash system, says Bo Darvel. There you go. It is very, in my opinion, I'm with you. It is a very flawed system, and the fact that they can get in like that is it's eye-opening to a lot of people who have never thought about this could be the Final Four. So it'll be interesting. BB, good point on NASCAR at fault for not policing the sport. Let drivers have at it. Has the potential for really bad consequence, says Bruce Garvey. I agree. Like dislike, I believe so. They said they're only running 32 charters, which means they're not counting for the new Front Row Motorsports SHR charters. Pretty sure Denny Hamlin said NASCAR won't approve the sales. Says Say Kyle. Yeah, so 100%. We're going to find out more about that on, I think it was November 4th or 2nd, whenever they're having that. I think it's November 4th. They're having that court date, one day before the election. So one day before the election, we'll have some NASCAR news as to what all is going to go down for next season, whether we're going to have the injunction or not, and all the other good stuff and the details as that goes. What day is it exactly when NASCAR has to respond in court? I think it's November 4th, but I'm not 100% sure. If somebody wants to look that up real quick and drop it, that'll be much appreciated. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in, says Rosie. Yeah, if you want to hit the like button, it would be much appreciated, but don't feel pressure to. I would put Conor Jones more slack if he hadn't already had a horrible reputation in late models. Good point, Dirty Def. Doing similar type things. Hopefully this is his wake-up call, and that's what I'm hoping to. Like, look, we've all been 19 before, or if not, you will be 19, and you just don't have a good understanding of everything in the world going on. Some stuff you understand better than others, and some things you just have to get some experience to understand. Everybody's a little bit different on which one of those are strengths and weaknesses. And hopefully this will be the thing that crystallizes this for Conor Jones, and we won't have any of that from him going forward. What up, BB? How you doing? What's up, Chrome Diesel? Hello, everyone in the chat. What's up, OJ? One wise guy I heard Jones' attitude matches his actions, says one wise guy. That's the word on the street. I'm not going to get into it because I've never met him. I'm not going to say I've never met him. I've never talked to him, but he has raced for somebody I know in the past. So I'm gonna hold off my opinion until I talk to them, and then I'll I don't know if I'll even talk about it then because he's 19. So it is what it is. Hopefully he learns and grows from it. But that is what a lot of people seem to say. I think they get the charter from Rick Ware Racing, says OJ. That's where I think it's coming from, too. Fourth poll answer should have been, who cares? Paulo dropped 50 last night. That would have been a good one. I was struggling. I was like, what can be the fourth option? One day I'll be an adult and I'll just have three options and just leave it at that and not put in a joke one. But as of yet, that's not happened. Team FT, not sure if you heard BB, but there will be an ARCA West exhibition at Irwindale in December as a send-off. Hey, there you go. So maybe that's the last race that I was reading about. I didn't know it was going to be an ARCA exhibition send-off, but that's a pretty good way to send it off. Matt Hunter said, I'm in the minority thinking that Legacy's Motor Club's performance will improve with the addition of Heim to their roster. Congrats to Reddick for putting on the best race-winning move of the year. Yeah, Reddick absolutely ripped the wall. I still can't believe Blaney gave him the top. Even Junior said on his podcast today, he said, take the next gen car out of it. If you look at this track 9 times out of 10, if you give somebody that move up at the top, they take it and it works. And that's where I'm at with Junior. Like every race I've ever watched at Homestead on the last lap, or just anytime you're trying to block somebody, if you give them the top lane, they're going to rip it and they're going to pass you. So I still don't understand the decision, but Ryan Blaney has a championship and more wins than I'll have. So I'm not going to second guess it. I'm just going to say I don't understand the decision. Maybe he sees something with this new next gen car that I don't see. So I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, hopefully Matt Hunter, I'm pulling for Legacy. I hope they do run well because I'll forever, as long as that 43 is running, I'm going to pull for it. I've heard a rumor that the reason Joe Gibbs gave ownership of the 54 to Ties because of the new charter agreement. Cup owners can't own Xfinity cars. Can you confirm this? So that is in some negotiation talks. That was one of the things that they leaked out that was said. Now, whether that's in the actual agreement that was signed or whether that's not in the actual agreement that was signed, I don't know. But it would be a workaround for that. And I did put this in an episode. You'll probably see more of that. You'll probably see RCR go into Austin Dillon's name or Ty Dillon's name or something like that. There's always a workaround for these guys. Penske will put it in somebody else's name. There's always going to be a workaround for the team owners to get that going. Rick Hendrick already has Junior Motorsports. So, he can just run his stuff through Junior Motorsports, and they can still run it out of the Hendrick shop. So there's always going to be a workaround for that. I don't think that'll be a big hiccup for these Cup teams at all. They'll just use other people's names. It'll essentially be a shell corporation type situation. You think Corey LaJoie will be back in the 51 next year? It's all going to be dependent on how many charters Rick Ware Racing has, if they're going to rent one to RFK. I think he's got a good chance of being in there if he wants to be back there. That's going to be my guess. And if John Hunter Nemechek doesn't come back to the 42, where do you see him going? Probably somewhere like Sam Hunt Racing or another Toyota team. He seems to be in pretty good with Toyota, so it'd probably be another Toyota team. And obviously Corey Heim would be the guy that's going to replace him, because Corey Heim's already been signed as the test driver, I guess, for Legacy Motor Club. Sacramento Raceway is turning into track homes. Not good. Unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Friday begins our testing sessions, says In Between the Lanes. Indeed. We're going to get it together. The other story was somebody at a Hoosier tire test, completely, I guess, unrelated to NASCAR, except at the weekly level. Somebody was at a Hoosier tire test, and apparently somebody roughed up one of the Hoosier employees. So don't do that. That's a dick move. Let's see. Cody Ledger, in my opinion, Haas and Tony leases the two charters that NASCAR has blocked off for sale, or one of them is the Tony Stewart charter. Court likely takes over at least a year. One to RFK and one to Legacy for Heim. That could be an interesting way of going about it. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to find out more probably November 4th. That's So Lame Wise Guy talking about the Sacramento townhomes, Sacramento Raceway becoming townhomes or whatever, or raceway homes. BB, are you a Halloween person, says In Between the Lanes? I do. That's about the only time I watch horror movies. So I guess as far as that goes, a little bit. It's very rare that I dress up, but it is pretty cool to see other people dress up. So yeah, I like Halloween. It's a pretty cool holiday. It would be very, very expensive to drag everyone in NASCAR out to Saudi Arabia for one race, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, I don't know about that one. So NASCAR, if you remember in the charter agreements, they cut off Saudi money. So I really find it unlikely that they're going to go overseas to race in Saudi Arabia. But it's a story out there. I think, was it Adam Stern that dropped that one? I think Adam Stern dropped that one. So I don't know about that one. That one seems far out there, but it is a story. If anything comes of it, I'll follow it up. But right now it just seems like a little more far-fetched. But then again, they raced in Japan. So who am I to say? You never know. The thing is, BB, it isn't Eric's fault. I'd say John Hunter Nemechek has done a lot of stupid things. But yeah, Eric is struggling due to the team, says Thunderstrikes. Yeah, 100%. The cars just have not had speed this year. OJ Stockton 99 for the Outlaw race, November 1st and 2nd. In Between the Lanes saying it was the one that ran Homestead this past weekend. I wish I got the Hendrick Ruby Red number 5 diecast when it first came out. It has gone up in price. Doggone it, says OJ and Toothpaste. That's the way these things work. We've got BB, Eric Estep, and Colby Evans all at the same time. Sorry about that, FT. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be inconsistent with this, and unfortunately, it was scheduled at the same time. But if you do get bored here, go check out Eric Estep. It is for a good cause. Children's Miracle Network, Petty Foundation, the Petty Foundation leg of the Children's Miracle Network. So go check them out for sure, and go David Schildhouse. Hopefully he gets the win done over there. People love to move next to the racetracks and airports and then complain about the noise. Yeah, that's on them. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate. Legacy probably sucks worse because Nemechek wrecks every week with a limited number of cars. They have to constantly be using cars that he's already wrecked. Yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help when you get in a wreck close to every weekend. To be honest, I think 2311 and Front Row will run with the current charters, but they won't be able to purchase the other charters, says Thunderstrikes. Yeah, I mean, there's really no need to speculate on it because we're going to find out November 4th what's going to be the next step with that. So until November 4th happens, it's really just anybody's guess. And if you think the 19 is bad, don't forget that nobody likes you when you're 2311, says say Kyle. I was thinking the Hendrick Final Four. Now possibly no one from Hendrick, says Jake McVeigh. Yeah, and how bad would that, from NASCAR's perspective, how bad would that suck if you had Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick and one of them won the championship? Because as was posted by a few people, when Tyler Reddick won the regular season championship as a driver for 2311, there were multiple people saying that nobody from NASCAR showed up to give the trophy or take pictures with him when he got the regular season trophy. So would they also do the icy ceremony type thing where nobody from NASCAR goes to congratulate Denny Hamlin or Tyler Reddick if they win the or the playoff championship. It's going to be interesting to see. Going to be interesting to see if that happens. Big ifs, a lot of ifs out there. I'm not saying the two are exactly alike, but Conor Jones' reputation is very similar to Shane Meal back in the day. Yeah, Shane Meal was a hellraiser for sure. Dirty Def, no doubt about it. Conor Jones definitely has a reputation on the track. I just don't know about outside of the track. I don't know about that. But maybe it could be because of what he does on the track. A lot of people outside of the track don't talk to him or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to ask around. Does Trackhouse have a third charter for SVG? Yeah, they do. They got it from, they bought one of the ones from Stewart Haas Racing. So that one for sure will go through. So that's one that will be used next season. Great move by Reddick, but the people crowning this is a move that only he could pull off. I'm not buying it. He has a wide open top lane and just went and flew past Blaney. Yeah, pretty much anybody that's good at this track, I would say. I mean, man, Noah Gragson, Kyle Larson, obviously, Christopher Bell. I could see any of those guys that like to rip the top. Pretty much any guy that came from that has a strong dirt racing background. I'd throw Ricky Stenhouse in there. I could see Ricky Stenhouse Jr. pulling it off if he had a car with that type of speed. But yeah, for sure, no doubt about it. It was stupid what Conor did. With that said, he is 19 years old. A lot of people, especially race car drivers, are very hot-headed. I'll give him another chance. Hopefully he gets a chewing and we'll learn. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping as well. I never want to wish bad on somebody at all. Freddie Freeman, another home run against the Yankees 2-0. Freddie Freeman has single-handedly, if the Dodgers win, which I'm pretty sure they will, Freddie Freeman has single-handedly won the World Series by himself with the pitcher. That's all they needed out there. Freddie Freeman and Dodgers pitching. Craig added 4 more races to the season, says one wise guy. That's allegedly, that's the rumor. Let's see. BB, what do you think about Mario Andretti running for Venturini in the ARCA West finale? I think it shows that there's probably a lot of we've seen a lot of smoke about Andretti coming to NASCAR. I think and Mario Andretti basically said it's going to happen. Just hopefully it happens in my lifetime. So that tells me there's talks and they're close, but how close are they? But this shows that there's not just smoke, that there's probably a little bit of fire there to it as well. So yeah, Andretti to NASCAR, I think, is going to happen. Just when does it happen? That's really the only question I have. Which also leads me to believe Honda to NASCAR is going to happen. When it happens, I just don't know when. Let's see. Have they announced who's taking over the number 48 in the Xfinity Series? I did see somewhere where I don't know if it was official or not, but I think it was somebody from the Truck Series. Let me think on it for a second, and let's see. I like this. Like I believe it's Nick Sanchez. I think Nick Sanchez is going to take over the 48. That I don't know if that's official or if that's a rumor I saw, but I think Nick Sanchez is going to be who takes it over there. Not really strong on the Truck Series, just because I'm usually working on Truck and Xfinity days. Corey and Eric's personalities might mesh well together. Also, who wouldn't mind if Priest ran in either the 29 or the 59 for RFK? Serenity now, says Matt Hunter. Yeah, it's been a wild offseason, and some of it you can't even answer until after the injunction is either granted or reneged on. November 4th, I want to say, is the day. Do you get trick-or-treaters at the Bologna Burger? No, I'm too far off the road for that. I don't think I've ever had a trick-or-treater here. BB, who do you think would get the drivers under control? I know Mike Helton is one of one, but we sure could use a figure like that with the driving standards right now. I agree. Why the tiny tracks like the Coliseum and Bowman Gray? These are as small as your high school football. It's basically on a football field. It's on a college football field. Bowman Gray is. Bowman Gray doesn't even have a pit road inside the track. Yeah, 100%. I don't know why they're going that route. It's just something. It's something, I guess, that's trending right now. It seems to be a trendy thing to do, and I guess it's going well because that's why they're doing it. I couldn't tell you. That's a question for NASCAR. If I ever get a chance to ask, I guess I would have to ask Ben. What's his name? Is it Ben? What's the guy's last name? Ben Kennedy. Ben Kennedy, France. I would have to ask him, I guess. Bill's probably going to win the championship. That would be something for sure. Like nobody talks about him, and he could probably win the championship, and nobody would talk about him. Not NASCAR related, but did you see Dwayne Wade's statue when they unveiled it the other day? I didn't see the statue unveiling, but I've seen everybody basically post his head on every memorable, the head of the statue on every memorable Dwayne Wade moment. They just posted the head of the statue on top of D Wade. So interesting, interesting. That's almost as bad as the who was the soccer player that had the really bad one, but it was almost as bad as the soccer player that had the really bad statue in his honor. Ronaldo, maybe? I don't know. Where do you think the Homestead race ranked this year overall? I would definitely put the Spring Kansas race as number one from start to finish. That race was awesome, while stage one this weekend wasn't. I thought the whole race was pretty good. I don't know. It's hard to say. I would rank it as the best. I would rank Homestead as the best Homestead race I've seen in a while. But probably overall, yeah, I would agree with you. I think the Kansas race is probably a little bit better overall. Rest in peace, Terry Garr. Loved her in Young Frankenstein and Mr. Mom. Young Frankenstein's a good one, man. That's one of the better movies, I guess, Halloween movies ever made. It's a comedy. It's not. I guess it's not really necessarily a Halloween movie. Let's see. Honda stuff to NASCAR won't happen until 2026, but if nothing is announced before this year ends, no fourth OEM until 2027 at the earliest, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Andretti to Cup is probably going to coincide with Honda to Cup. That's just what I think, in my opinion. Yep, Sanchez to Big Machine 48. So yeah, there it is. Nick Sanchez. It is official. He is going to be the Big Machine 48 driver next season. It stinks that Parker Clearbean gave up the ghost, but I guess he got all he wanted out of running full time. Do you look for driver autographs at Martinsville? What do you get signed if so, says Jake McVeigh? I don't really look for autographs anymore. I did as a little kid. But if you're looking for autographs at Martinsville, you just stand at the gate. There's an exit gate, or an exit tunnel, I should say. So just stand by the tunnel and all the drivers walk out there. And if you have your, most of the time you just grab a hero card. If you get the infield, the pre-race infield pass, they got a bunch of hero cards there by the hauler. So pick one of those up and get one autographed. If you're looking for that, but that's the place to get your autographs, is right there as they're exiting or entering the racetrack through the tunnel. Did you watch the Tony Stewart interview with Kevin Harvick? He was kind of bashing NASCAR while he was leaving. Yeah, for sure. I haven't seen it, but I pretty much knew that was the reason Tony Stewart has left. He's alluded to it multiple times. You going to Ace Saturday, 14K to win in late model, says Cooter Yeti. I might be there. It just depends on how everything shakes out. I'll either be there or Martinsville. It's going to be sort of a toss-up. It just depends on some things. I can't really announce everything just yet, but we'll get into it at a future date. As far as the Ace stuff goes, 21 Phoenix in the spring, and the 45 car ran really good too, says OJ and Toothpaste. So yeah, the interesting thing about Phoenix, the best average finish in the last 7 races since 2021, basically. Joey Logano has the best average finish at 5.3. Weren't expecting that, were you? Ryan Blaney is second at 6.0. Kyle Larson third at 7.0. William Byron fourth at 7.7. Eric Almirola not racing. And then Chase Elliott at 9.7. How does that line up for you? And guess who's behind Chase Elliott in the average finish? Denny Hamlin at 11.1. So there you go. I mean, how crazy is Martinsville going to be? This is a good track for all the guys basically at the cut line. So going to be super interesting. Going to be super interesting to see what happens there. Vikings Motorsports is expected to sign Matty D to a 2-year extension and cut ties with RSR, but add additional car to the team. That'll be interesting. Yeah, and I saw Hettinger Racing. They bought out Brett Holmes, so they'll have the 32 points for her next year. So there you go. I don't know if they'll run Katie or if they're just going to run another driver. I know Donnelly's running for them in late model right now. That Dwayne Wade statue was the worst one I've seen. Looks like a 70-year-old woman. Ronaldo was the bad statue. So yeah, Ronaldo was the bad statue. Congrats on your 49ers winning Sunday. My Colts have a lot of drama right now. Glad we're starting Joe Flacco Sunday. Joe Flacco is the move. There's no doubt about that. Got a pretty good wide receiver there in Downs. I got him on my fantasy team as a backup, but he's so inconsistent depending on who's the quarterback. It's hard to say whether or not you're going to put him in. OJ, appreciate the super chat there. Fist bump, my friend. Worst trick-or-treat candy you didn't eat? Peeps. Peeps and candy corn. Peeps and candy corn. I'm not with that. I'm not with that jazz. I think people. I know it took me a long time to come up with that one, huh? So I really just don't like those two candies. I think people are going hard on Blaney. Yes, he should have. I'm not trying to go hard on him. I just don't understand. To me, Tyler Reddick's best groove is the top, so you block the top and you make him beat you low. He might beat you low, but you took his best groove away. So if he beat you low, he just had a better car. I think people are being hard on Blaney. Yes, he should have covered the top, but it's not like you could have expected Reddick to full send it and stick it. He drove it all the way in there, says Bo Darville. I don't know, man, because I expect if I give somebody the top, I expect them to either drive it in there and wreck or drive it in there and pass me because I know they're just not going to lift. They're going to go all the way for it, and they could even possibly ride the wall and not all the way around like Ross Chastain did, but they could ride part of it and still get you. So I don't know. I didn't understand it, but Blaney knows what he's doing. I'm not being hard on him. I just didn't understand the move. And look, we all do dumb things. I've done dumb things too. So it is what it is. What do you think of Tony Stewart's comments last week? Do you think he was throwing shade at 2311 by the comments about the lawsuit and the direction things are headed? He commented, the France family. It's hard to say without me watching it, so I'm going to have to actually watch the episode to get the full context of it. But hopefully he would be on the side of 2311 because if he's on the side of the France family, why did he leave NASCAR? You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. And I think the only thing he was alluding to there is there could be a split in the future. Since summer, there were rumors Andretti IndyCar team might be seeking to switch engines from Honda to Chevrolet. Probably had to do with their F1 push with the GM Association. Or it just could be the fact that Honda was thinking about leaving IndyCar. Reddick winning the title and watching whomever from NASCAR receive a chorus of boos during the trophy presentation would be hilarious. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. I kind of want to see it just to see how it plays out, either him or Hamlin winning. I just want to see it for how NASCAR would handle that deal. Did y'all get to watch MX5s last weekend at Martinsville? I didn't. I was at the racetrack myself. Andy J in the Hendrick Motorsports car won, unfortunately, and the Hendrick Motors car wrecked, unfortunately, I should say. Says Cody Ledger. I didn't get a chance to see it. Jets played the Texans on Halloween. Oh, that'll be a pretty cool game. That'll be pretty cool. Your top 5 box cereal brand food and top 5 worst ones, says OJ. Oh, I don't know. I don't really eat cereal anymore, but as a kid, I liked Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, Raisin Bran was a big one. 2 scoops of raisins. That was the big selling point back then. What was another one? Captain Crunch with the Crunch Berries. Without the Crunch Berries, it's useless. And then either Cocoa Krispies or Cocoa Puffs. Those are probably my top 5, I guess. Smacks, Sugar Smacks. I would have to mix them in there. So there would be a good rotation. Like I would get bored of one and just go on to the next sugary one. The worst, anything healthy for you, like Kicks, that was trash. Clusters. I gotta put Cluster 5, just anything healthy, like Chex, that garbage, Kicks, garbage, Alphabet, garbage, Cornflakes, garbage. Wheaties, king of garbage. Oh my God. As a kid, I hated wheat. I know they're good for you and you got to put fruit in them now, but hopefully he can get back racing somehow, some way though. Back in the day, the drivers respected the speed and the danger and the hard work that went into the car because a lot of the drivers were working on them themselves or had at some point worked on them. Nowadays, no respect, no fear for the danger. We know they're not working on their cars. Yep. And they have this false illusion that a safe car, but there's never, ever going to be a car safe enough to intentionally wreck somebody. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Aaron Rodgers is playing so bad right now, using all 3 timeouts in the first quarter and not mobile like he used to be, but he is 40. That comes with being 40. You're not going to be, the older you get, the less mobile you're going to be. That's science. Where was Logano when Blaney needed him? Says Cody Ledger. Oh, I don't know. That'll be a story for another day. Logano he was like 28th. He wasn't running good. I think he was having an R&D day, if I had to guess. If Reddick wins at Phoenix, will the France family all have the Rona during the celebration and not be able to make the event, says Bruce Garvey? It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. If they don't show up, some excuse will be used. Never easy being a Jets fan, says OJ and Toothpaste, or says in between the lanes, OJ and Toothpaste. Trucks and Xfinity race in Martinsville will be fun to watch because it's old school, welded chassis stock cars. They do seem to race better at short tracks, whereas the other cars, the next gen car or whatever you want to call it, seems to race better at 1.5s for the Cup Series. I honestly think Reddick caught Blaney sleeping because I think he over exaggerated the tire difference to him. So Blaney probably wasn't really worried because he thought he had a huge tire advantage. Could be, could be. I'd love to. Blaney gave the clean version after the race and all that, but I'd love to know what Blaney was actually thinking in the moment. Because as soon as Blaney went down, in my mind, I was like, "What are you doing? What do you know that I don't know?" And then he proved that he didn't know anything I didn't know because Tyler Reddick did exactly what I thought Tyler Reddick was going to do. And I was like, that was crazy. I was like, what a crazy finish. And I was like, that was an amazing finish, but I'll be darned if I would have gave him the top like Blaney did. But it is what it is. Sour Patch Kids cereal looks so disgusting. I saw it in Walmart yesterday. It says OJ and toothpaste. It doesn't sound great. I'll give you that. I was never a huge Sour Patch fans kid. I was never a sour candies guy. Atomic Warheads were probably the only thing I ever messed with as a kid. Jets have the talent, says in between the lanes. They do. They just got to get it organized there. BB is the Carolina Panthers, still the worst team in the NFL right now. They're up there. They're up there. Maybe them and the Titans flip a coin. That would be my thoughts on that. Future poll question: next Cup driver likely to retire: Hamlin, Keselowski, Busch, or Dillon? I don't know. I'll throw it up there. We got a long off season, so that'll be one for sure that I can do. Jets going for the number 1 draft pick. I don't have hopes for a new soft compound that will be used for the incoming Cup race at Martinsville. Yeah, hopefully it works pretty good. It's been cool enough around here. Rocking my BB Media hoodie. Appreciate you there, Aaron Flynn. If you want to check out the hoodies, go to the website. Let's see. Sour Patch cereal is disgusting. The kids won't even eat it. Says like dislike. Are you confident in at least one driver in each series that will advance? Heim, Allgaier, Bell. But if Seabell has an issue, he could easily get knocked out. Yeah, I'm pretty confident Seabell goes on to the next round, no doubt about it. I couldn't speak on the other series. I'd have to look at their point. I don't really keep up with the other series, unfortunately, just because I'm working usually on the weekends. But if that ever changes, I will keep up with all 3 series. I'll have a lot more content to cover. It'll be a lot more fun. But as of right now, I can't keep up with it. But yeah, for sure, Seabell. I feel like Seabell is safe no matter what happens. He would really have to like wreck on lap 1 for him to be knocked out. Any Australia Cup race likely before 2030? I don't know. They got the Thunderdome down there, so maybe they revamped that. Blaney going low is deflating as Mark Martin pulling into the pits with 1 to go. Very similar. The way I reacted to it would be very similar to that. I agree with you 100%. There's the link for the merch right there if you want to check out the hoodies. Appreciate you there, One Wise Guy. Any fantasy football players you dropped or not doing anything for your team? All my players got injured, man. My season's been an utter freaking disaster. I had Isaiah Pacheco. I had is it Rashee Rice? I had both of them. They got hurt. My first 2 rounds were auto drafted, so I had Tua Tagovailoa. He obviously got hurt too. So there you go. Like of my first 6 picks, 3 of them were injured. So been a bad season. Then my kicker got hurt. I had the 49ers kicker. He had a high ankle sprain. So he got hurt. Who else got hurt? I don't know. It's been a mess. Who else did I have? I had somebody else that got Brandon Ayuk. I had Brandon Ayuk, and although he didn't really produce much this season, he got hurt as well. It's just been a I'm 2-5, I think, right now. Every single player I haven't had a single game where somebody didn't get me a 0 because they got hurt before they scored. I had Marvin Harrison Jr. He got a concussion, so he was out for a couple games. He got me a 0 that game that he got the concussion. Like it's been a rough year. So let me know who your favorite player is. I'll pick them up, or I won't pick them up. I should say that I won't pick them up so they don't get hurt. So there you go. Hey, I totally get it. It's hard enough just keeping up with Cup, says Dirty Def. So we're rooting for Seabell to wreck on lap 1, says I say Kyle. So there you go. I guess if you're pulling for one of the Hendrick boys, you're pulling for Seabell to wreck on lap 1. Let's see. I picked Tyreek Hill first, and he has been disappointing so far. Yeah, he doesn't have he just got his quarterback back, so I think that's part of the deal. Oh yeah, also had the Red Rifle. The Red Rifle got hurt as well. So I mean, I plugged him in as one of my backups. I think currently I've got Russell Wilson and Sam Darnold. So I think those are the two quarterbacks I got right now. It's just been a mash unit this year. Like, it's just been a disaster. Fantasy. We will not be repeating. So the record is going to be 3 out of the 4 years I got the title, and it's not going to be 4 out of 5, unfortunately, as it's looking right now. Junior Motorsports making mid 6 figures after announcing the return of the Red 8. Budweiser, it will outsell everything this season, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, no doubt about that. And also, it makes me wonder why RCR doesn't put Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 3 car in Xfinity, because I feel like they would get just as much merchandise sales with Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 3 car in Xfinity for a full season. No doubt about it in my mind. I don't know. I don't know why that deal can't get done, but I'd love to see that happen. If you're listening out there, RCR, can we please put Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 3 car for a full season? Can we make that happen financially? Stefan Diggs is out for the season, says in between the lanes. Oh, that stinks. I have a diecast of the Bud 8. Cool seeing that come back, says Team FT. If NASCAR ever ran at Bathurst, you couldn't even count the number of wrecks in that. Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I raced Bathurst on the sim, and that thing is that's a tough track to get around. I was most of the wrecks. Thoughts on the Commanders? Hail Mary. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I saw the replay of it. I didn't see it live. Bucks lost like our entire receiver core. Says, hey, Kyle. Yeah. Indeed you did. Indeed you did. Unfortunately, Baker Mayfield's still making the most of it, though. Just doesn't have the weapons he had. At least in fantasy numbers, I should say. Earth 2 Cup of Noodles becomes Soul Cup Series sponsor using the moniker of Cup of Noodles Racing Series. Hey, I like it, Jamie Schweitzer. Good cup of noodles. Good for you, or at least good enough. Something that you can still afford when you go into the grocery store. 2 college quarterbacks were forced to retire, says in between the lanes. I'm 2-6 in my league, and my first pick was McCaffrey, and it's been all downhill since week 1 when he got hurt. Still optimistic. He's coming back after the bye week. So the 49ers have a bye week, and he's coming back after the bye week. So you should hopefully you can make a playoff run when he comes back. Phoenix will be checkers or wreckers for Reddick. Allegedly. That's the big rumor, I guess I should say. Phoenix will be checkers or wreckers for Reddick. Going to be fun, says Perry Earl. I think so, too. I think it's going to be a good one. OJ saying, is there a driver that's not good on Earth 1 and Earth 2? Kyle Petty comes to mind, because Kyle Petty had a career where he was really good at the beginning, and just at the end of it, due to cars or whatever, he wasn't good at the end of it. So Kyle Petty would be one that would be good on Earth 1 and 2. So yeah, for sure. Let's see. I agree, BB. Jeffrey deserves a deal like that. He nearly won in that 3, and with Larry Mack as crew chief, yeah, it would be super cool. What did you think of Homestead? I thought it was a good race. Wise guy. Dirty Deaf. That's a great idea, BB, about Jeffrey Earnhardt. They could sell a season with him and that number. 100% agree. 100% agree. Say Kyle, Banquet Frozen Dinners picks up the Xfinity Series as title sponsor. There you go, Banquet. They were the bomb back in the day. Them and Hungry Man were like the 2 big microwave dinners back in the day. Hoping Blaney gets the win again at Martinsville, says Timber Ace. It could happen. Like, I just read you the stats of who's got the best average finishes, and they're literally all in the playoff hunt this year. Blaney versus Hamlin will be the main story of Martinsville, I think. It could be. It'll be interesting to see how everything goes down. Cool thing about Mexico City is Unheard today. They are running through the soccer stadium, and it will be the longest straightaway in the series next year. That's going to be a wild race for sure. I can't wait to see it. Won't be there live, but it'll be cool to watch on TV. The Cup race will suck this week, but Xfinity race will be straight chaos, possibly all-time chaos. Could be, for sure. Eric Amarola was so close to winning at Martinsville last year. Let's see how SHR does this year and how Eric Amarola does in the Xfinity race. Bring back the Goodies Headache Award, says Tim Brace. Then he hasn't won at Martinsville since 2015. He hasn't, but he's got pretty good average finish there, so I wouldn't count him out. Tyler Reddick hadn't won at Homestead in a while, and he punched the ticket this week. So I don't worry about all that stuff as far as they haven't won since. You just know they're good there. Let's see. Goodies Headache Award would be something cool they could bring back. I remember I always used to listen for that on MRN or PRN. I got mad when I went to the grocery store and my wife a couple of weeks ago, only to realize that banquet meals haven't been 99 cents for a long time. Madness, says Say Kyle. Isn't Martinsville Truex home track? Which home track is Martin Truex is on Earth 2? Martin Truex only has one home track on Earth 2. On Earth 1, it feels like they announce every track as Martin Truex Jr.'s home track. Will they have option tires this week? Yeah. they're running the option tire for sure. Martin Truex Jr. is from New Jersey, Marietta, New Jersey, to be exact, Team FT. But the joke is, of course, every track is his home track because they act like every track in the Northeast is Martin Truex Jr.'s home track. So we just, every time we go to a track, we're like, this is Martin Truex Jr.'s home track. So there you go. Denny is good at Martinsville, and we'll bring the mix. But people are saying he is the hands down favorite to win. Oh yeah, there's no way of predicting the hands down favorite until you at least see a practice or a qualifying run. Like until you see them actually on the track, you can only just go off of numbers, and you can't. I don't know if you can ever have a hands down favorite just based on the numbers without looking at some practice or qualifying speeds. Speaking of Truex, Ryan Truex deserves a full-time ride. Hopefully he can get one. He's locked in with the Toyota group, so he needs to, I guess, find some funding. Abu Dhabi is Martin Truex Jr.'s home on Earth 2, says Seikal. No, there you go. That's it. That's the one. Appreciate you there, Seikal. Everyone is going to use the option tire on the last pit stop run. LOL, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, no doubt. They'll save one for that. What would Eric say if Joey wins Martinsville? He'd have a meltdown, says Jamie Schweitzer. People think the softer tire will help Denny. It could, because he's good at managing tires. It's a cutoff race. Larson will lead all the laps and win, says Bo Darville. Wouldn't surprise me. He's been pretty good since he's gotten with Hendrick at Martinsville. Said on Action's Detrimental that it's been over 3,500 days since Denny Hamlin won Martinsville, says Seikal. Well, I mean, they keep hyping it up. We'll see if it happens. It's going to be interesting. It's also historically been a Hendrick track, so you can throw all the numbers you want to out there. But last year, the winner was a Pennzoil Ford. Not a Pennzoil Ford, but an Advanced Auto Ford, I should say. The Advanced Auto Ford. So I would also be looking at Ryan Blaney. There's a lot of favorites. Like I just read, the best average finish of the last 7 races. Let's just go down here again. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. So there you go. Look out for all those guys to be your odds-on favorites. They're all good there. Boyer has won at Martinsville more recently than Hamlin. Will Chad Fincham ever, says Team FT, will Chad Fincham ever win Earth 1 Cup race? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I don't know. We'll have to see as the season goes on over there. Kyle's next to last chance to keep the streak alive, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, hopefully he can get something done. It won't surprise me whatever Larson does, if that means winning or wrecking out. Yeah, he's going to go for it. Lionel needs to hurry up and ship my Ruby 24 Martinsville win. I've had the 4-car 164 set for months, says Kyle. Well, hopefully they get it out there to you soon, but I wouldn't hold my breath. They take their time. OJ and Toothpaste, if he runs at a plate track, maybe, says Team FT. I wonder how many days Denny's been in Cup without a championship, says Timber Race. That's a long time. That's a long time. I don't know. It's a lot of days. That's a lot of days. All right. Looks like we reached the end of it. Go over there and check out Eric Estep. I'm sure they're still racing over there on his channel. That's where I'm headed. But the final poll question, 42% thinks that they somehow got a Haas charter as far as the RFK charter. So that's going to be how the poll ends up. All right. Check you guys later. Until the next one. I won't do the pre-race this week because I'm going to Martinsville. But at some point, if I get back in time, I will do the post-race, but it'll be super late. All right. Till then. Peace.